This is Ed from Exotic Blanks welcoming you to another tutorial. This one is on the Cambridge pen and antique alternate ivory. We're going to talk about the pen as well as the material as we go through making the pen. I start with drilling the blank, and because these blanks are a little bit longer than they need to be, I'm setting up the drill bit and marking the bit at the end of the depth that I need for that tube. Now this is a Cambridge, and so we are dealing with a 31/64 and a 33/64 drill bit. I have found that they do make the hole little larger on the entry side if the bit is not as sharp as it should be. So before I started this, I did sharpen both of these bits, and you'll see that they go through pretty nicely. We put it into the center, and I locked down the tailstock and then start to turn the tailstock so that it goes into the bit advances into the material. As you can see, what's coming out of the alternate ivory is ribbons, and that indicates to me that the drill bit is relatively sharp and that everything is going fairly well. So that's what you're hoping to see. Even at that, you should only go in at most a half an inch, and then clean off your flutes and go back and restart, and you can see that I've made about an inch worth of progress there, and I've got about another inch to go. So that's all there is to it. You just keep pushing in and taking out the drill bit and cleaning it. Now the blanks are both drilled, but they're too long, so we put them in the jig that I made and measure them, and of course take them over to the bandsaw and cut them to length, and now they're ready to be made into the pen. Now, the first thing that you do is try to put in your bushings. When you try to put the bushings in and you find that they don't go in easily, chances are very good that you have glue in the inside of the brass tube. Now if you look at that, it's hard to tell on the picture, but if you look at it, it's real hard to see that there's anything in there. It looks like they're nice shiny brass tubes. But when I take my knife and go inside and start to scrape, you can see that CA is coming off. So yes, indeed, there was CA glue inside that had dried nice and smooth, and so it was not easy to see. But the fact that the bushings didn't go in tells you right off the bat there's something in there that's messing it up. So I clean out the tubes and then attempt to put the bushings on again. And sometimes that takes 2 or 3 tries before I finally get to the point where the bushing slides right in, and then you know that you're good to go. Everything will work out fine from there on. This is one of the ways that you can avoid cracking your blank when you make the pen. Basically at this stage, if you get the junk out of the tube, you will then be able to make the pen from there on without worrying about cracking anything. If you ignore the junk in the tube, later on it will come back to bite you. Okay, we've now got the blank mounted on the mandrel between bushings, and as you can see, the color of this antique alternate ivory is a little darker than the normal alternate ivory, but the two of them turn very similarly. You can see that I'm using a skew, and the tool rest is at about the center of the blank. And I'm taking off the ends first, which is my habit. I tend to take off the ends first because I believe if it chips out, it makes it less likely that it will chip into the part that's going to become the pen. It seems to be able to chip out off to the edge. It seems to not ruin the blank. At any rate, that's my perception of it. So I haven't chipped one in quite a while, so I don't really know anymore. But it's easy to turn, as you can see. We're making ribbons. I'm not taking deep cuts. I'm taking very shallow, easy cuts. This is turning at about 3,600 RPM. I do turn at as high a speed as the lathe will generally go. So that's all there is to it. Just Take your time, and before you know it, you will have a pen. As you can see in here, when you're turning this, there's actually no sound at all. You hear the motor of the lathe running, and you're gently taking material off of the alternate ivory, and that's all there is to it. Just keep on going. After this, it's sanded with 400 and 600 grit, and I'll make a separate video of assembling the pen. So thank you for watching. This is Ed from Exotic Blanks. Enjoy the video and let me know if there's anything else that you'd like to see. Meanwhile, have a good evening. Bye now.